This is an analysis of the movie Into the Wild. This is the start of the movie. It is the beginning, and it starts in a bedroom. Um, and I think it starts in the bedroom, and it starts in that way it starts because um, the mother screams Chris, and it gives us an idea that there's something wrong and that there is a conflict, not between the mother and the child, but just that there's something wrong. Um, yeah, and she screams Chris, and that tells us that the conflict is about Chris. Yeah, and then there is this Byron quotation, um, and the point of the quotation is that you should appreciate the nature, and that the nature is beautiful. You should appreciate the nature at least as much as the society. And Chris thinks that the nature is more important than society, yeah, in a lot of ways. And nature is very important, and you should appreciate a lot, just like you appreciate society. And then I would comment on the music. The songs in the movie gives us a feeling of happiness and joy, and it gives us a feeling that Chris is happy, um, and that he have found peace in the nature and in himself, and that he have found a nice way to live, and he likes the way he lives now, but not the way he used to live. And the music is good to give us a feeling of that. And then if you look at the camera angles, they make us feel like it's mostly Chris' point of view, like there. Uh, it all seems from coming from his point of view. Um, and in the end, it's aerial view, just like this, and super total, also like kind of like this up here. When you look all over the aerial, and you can see everything from above. Um, there is a handwritten letter in the screen at a point in the start of the movie, and it's a handwritten letter for Wayne, who is this guy who wrote him, drived him out here in the in the in the wild, and Chris promised Wayne to write him back if he ever came back from the wild. So um so the letter is to Wayne from Chris. I think the handwritten letter in the screen. Uh yes. And something that strike me as significant and is surprising to me is that um he hangs this hat uh, on a branch, and then he leaves it. Uh, and it's a little weird because yeah, I don't know why he does it. Maybe it has an important meaning. I don't know. If you think about it, it could have an important an important meaning. Maybe it's that he can see where he has been, and that he doesn't go round and round in the same circle. Or maybe it's for people to see where he was, or just that there has generally been a human being out there in the wilderness. And when Wayne in this car drives him out here, he says, "That's about as far as I can get you." That line tells me that now Chris stands on his own feet and he must fend for himself. He has only nature to help him, for he lives on a made world of man. When he gets out of the car and go out in the wild, he comes from something entirely man-made or human-made, and now he goes out in something that the humans has no influence on. And this thing about Chris crossing this stream, I take it as a symbol that he crosses this river. He goes from his old life to his new life, so it's kind of a transition that shows that he puts his old life behind him and that he's ready for his new one. And there is kind of another symbol in this more. There's another symbol, and that is that he goes down in the water and he comes up again, and I see it as a symbol for him to be baptized and become Christian, just as it is described in the Bible when you get baptized. Just here it is just in the river, and kind of another way, but kind of the same. And if I have to see anticipates later events and something that I don't know anything about in the start, but I found out later in the movie. There is this thing with he goes to a flora and fauna shop and buys a book, and now we don't know that this book is going to kill him, but later on we know that he goes the book tells him wrong, kind of. The book tells him wrong about some flowers that he eat or a plant that is causing his death. So the book is causing his death. And that we don't know that in the start when we see this scene, but we know it later on in the end of the movie. And then there is the thing with that he steps gently down in the water. Here he steps gently, very gently down in the water, and at this point we don't know that he is actually scared of water. But later on we know that he's very scared of water and he really doesn't like it. And then there is this thing with his mother, and that she screams Chris so many times. You don't know here in the start when she screams Chris, Chris, Chris. I heard him. I heard Chris. I wasn't dreaming. I heard him. When she screams this, we doesn't know that we know that there's something wrong, but we doesn't know what. And later on, we get to know what's wrong. And yeah, that's kind of weird too.